Welcome to Wolf Precision's YouTube channel, and in this episode we're going to be talking about the new MDT TIMBR Frontier Chassis. So we build a lot on different chassis out there, different stock makers and manufacturers, and if you go to our website, it's wolfprecision.net, you'll see that we don't build on everything, and we sort of are a little picky on the rigidity, the quality of the overall chassis, how well does it take the bedding. There's just a lot to be said about the chassis and where the rubber meets the road. We can build a world-class rifle, but if we don't put a good set of tires on it, which I would consider to be the stock or the chassis, we leave ourselves vulnerable to delivering a rifle to a customer that just doesn't live up to our standards or our expectations as far as how it's going to perform in the field. A lot of your lesser expensive chassis, there's a lot of shortcuts they do in manufacturing to make the chassis less expensive, of course, or to make it cheaper. And in some ways, I think a lot of people that design these chassis, and maybe not a newsflash to those out there, that 80% of the people in our industry do not shoot, do not hunt. They're not in our industry for any other reason than just a job. And although they have good intentions and are probably great team members and employees, a lot of times when they're cutting corners and they're trying to find ways to make things cheaper, they don't really understand the yin and yang effect or the detrimental effect that can happen when they shortcut things, or when they take too much material out, or when they decide or make an executive decision as to, hey, we can save $1.50 per chassis by doing it this way, but then nobody looks at it from a shooter's perspective as to what it's going to do to the overall shootability of the chassis. Is it going to make it more rigid? Is it going to make it flex more? There's just a lot of caveats to making a great rifle and a great chassis. One of the chassis that we're really excited to get here, and I have to say that really met a lot of my expectations and took the bedding super well, this is the new MDT TIMBR Frontier. Now, I'm old, I'm in my 50s, right? And I remember when back in the day you had a couple chassis to choose from, but most of the stocks that we chose from were either traditional molded stocks, something like a Macmillan, wood stocks, and then you started to see laminates come on board. And one of the things I always liked about laminates is that wood look, the traditional look. They're nice looking stocks, right? And one of the downsides is with the laminates is they can get extremely heavy. So when you build a really nice shooting varmint rig or dual purpose rifle, something's just going to be your fun shooter, your everyday get out and have a great time with it. Maybe some are going to take on a varmint hunt or a coyote hunt. They got heavy, and they got heavy in a hurry. One of the really cool things that I liked about the TIMBR Frontier is it's in that price point of something like a KRG Bravo 1. For those that can't really get your hands on it to feel what the actual stock feels like, I liken the grip a lot to a Bravo 1 or a KRG. It's a tall grip, but it's not as thick through here, so I can actually get my hands around it. They've got some texture on it, so you can actually get a good grip on it. They've got an adjustable length of pull and cheek piece, which is incredible. They took the time, rather than just leaving this wood on top or plastic, whatever they would decide to put on here, but they took the time to put like a little bit of a foam cheek piece pad on here. It's a nice little touch. I mean, it sounds silly. It might be $1 or $2 for them to do this, but when you're looking at the overall chassis, when you get on to shoot, it's actually rather comfortable. Ergonomically, I think it's a home run. I mean, if for someone looking for an entry-level stock or an entry-level chassis that do not want to go out and spend, $1,500 to build a groundhog rifle or to build a varmint rifle, this one is really, really, really squared away. And as far as the ergonomics of it, I certainly would give it, I would say at least an 8.5 out of 10 if I was to give it a rating. Where I really think this is a home run is it bedded super nice. So we did bed this particular rifle. This is a customer's rifle. And where I think it gets a star above most of your other entry-level chassis, as I would call them, is it is extremely rigid when you're shooting it. So you don't get that torque and twist and flex when we're setting the rifle up to shoot on a very lightweight or inexpensive entry-level chassis. You grab the grip and you twist it around to level up the gun to shoot, and you can just sort of see the forearm and the rear of the receiver sort of bending against each other, and maybe we'll show that in some other videos coming soon. But the chassis itself is super, super rigid. For those that have shot it here, the common response that we got is it was an absolute pleasure to shoot, that the wood feel gives it almost like a deadening, dampening type vibration. Chassis that are made out of aluminum or magnesium, they have like almost like a tinny, twangy, steely sound when you shoot them. The vibrations loosen up action screws. It gives it like that really cold feeling that you'll often see with chassis. The wood gives it a nice warm look, it gives it a nice warm feel, and when you're shooting it, it's very dampening to the harmonics. You don't hear that ring that you would traditionally hear out of a traditional aluminum chassis or magnesium. So as far as the rigidity of the chassis, it's way above almost any other chassis that we could recommend as far as being able to shoot this at long range and getting really good, dependable results. The chassis overall is a home run. I give it a 9 out of 10 for rigidity. As far as its value, again, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because of the entry price point. You can look it up online. These prices change. I would put it on par with almost all of the entry-level chassis out there as far as their price point. But I think for what you're getting for your money, it really squared away. And then, of course, unlike a lot of your other rifle stocks that make you buy an M5 bottom metal, of course, this one has it built into it like a traditional chassis would as well. So for those that are looking for a great chassis type rifle, those that are like myself that like the old laminate wooded stocks, that they give it that more of a warm feel. They do make it in different colors as well. I think this is a great alternative to go and look at. The new MDT TIMBR Frontier, I think, is just a home run entry-level chassis the whole way around. And I would have no problem putting this on my varmint gun and going out and shooting and enjoying it all year long. I enjoyed it that much. So if you get a chance, stop over to mdttac.com and you can check it out. MDT does not give us this stock. This is a customer stock. And when we bring them in and put them on our website for sale, we bring them in and build rifles on them based on the overall quality and making sure that it's a good fit for the rifle that we're trying to deliver. So you'll see this one on our website for sale later this week as far as one of our custom rifle builds that we're going to offer. So really encourage you to go out and get your hands on one if you get a chance. And for those that are thinking about buying one, I give this an absolute top-notch shelf rating the whole way across the board. For an entry-level stock, I would put it on par with any stock that costs nearly twice as much. The chassis itself, the way it sits here, this has our longer 23-inch heavy carbon barrel on it. We make a lighter carbon barrel as well as a light stainless, but this, the way she sets without the optics and the bipod, weighs 9 pounds, 12 ounces, which is very reasonable for a varmint rifle. So I hope you enjoyed the review. We'll do another one here and we'll try to get it out and shoot it. Maybe not this particular one, and this is getting ready to get shipped out to a customer. But we'll try to do some more reviews on it. We'll bring one in-house for people to see on our stock as well. So anyway, if you enjoyed the content you would like, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for new product or new videos being released. And then, of course, thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We certainly appreciate it. Any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you have interest in the chassis or stock, you can always reach out to MDT TAC as well. And we should have our builds online and available in this as a standard option for our custom rifles soon. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us. My name is Jamie Dotson, Wolf Precision. See you next video.